Okay, we are going to talk about step charts today, but I wanted to say huge thanks to kay0ss for running a charity stream for the Asian Mental Health Collective, which is an organization trying to make mental health resources more accessible to Asian communities. He did this charity stream. It was 12 hours long. He raised over $2,000, and I think his initial goal was $500, and he quadrupled that goal. So please, kay0ss, follow him on Twitter and Twitch. I love this guy. I've never met him in person. We've only interacted online. He's like a brother to me at this point. He's, you know, streams a lot. Great community member. Amazing at DDR. Also boosting the freestyle scene in California. So please rep him. So I do want to talk about this a little bit because I never saw myself in a position where I would have a regular audience enough to talk about this, but it's important to me, right? So as far as recent events go, if you're from the US and you don't know what's going on right now, you need to go onto any news site and see what's going on. Kind of like the Asian racism stuff has always been an ongoing thing as I've been growing up, but it's really escalated a lot in the last year. And this is something I talk about with He10 all the time. A lot of my conversations with him we connected through dance games, but most of my conversations with him are not about dance games. We just talk about life and some of our experiences as Asian Americans growing up and living in the United States is a common topic. And where I grew up, in Nebraska, there wasn't a lot of hostile racism. It was mostly ignorant things. I would be called bad names, or I'd get the Oriental song sung at me, and they'd ask me dumb questions like, "Do you own forks?" I'm like, "Yes, I don't use chopsticks. It's my only utensil." Or I don't know, they'd mispronounce my name, my last name, which I understand is hard, but when people don't put an effort into even trying to read your name correctly, it's really disrespectful, and that's why so many Asian parents and Asian kids want white names or American names growing up, so they just don't have to endure that embarrassment. They just want to fit in. So that's why a lot of kids have American names. I don't know, that in hindsight, those are pretty big problems. But as long as I was getting through another day, I wasn't physically getting hurt. I kind of dealt with a lot and just kind of rolled with it as something normal. But as I started to grow up, these issues started becoming way more escalated, and I started observing more problems. Dating for both Asian men and women are super rough, as far as men are just completely undesired, and then women are entirely fetishized. It's a huge problem. I remember the Asian doctor that was dragged out of his flight on United. Immigrants all the time being made fun of for their English, or stereotypes for the jobs they pick up. And even worse on top of this is there's always been this American or Asian model minority myth, perfect, minority figure, good at that all the kids are good at STEM fields and perfect lives and making all this money and stuff. And it's such bullshit. It just it suppresses and invalidates the real issues that Asian immigrants and Asian Americans go through every single day for the past few decades of living here. And of course, over the last year, it's blown into full-blown violence and has been really bad. I don't know, seeing the news articles really crushed me because it just reminds me a lot of my own situation, right? The women that died in those salons were just mothers for families, and it's literally just like my family. My family immigrated from Vietnam. They gave up everything. They tried their best to go to college with super minimal English. Made it, somehow managed to get jobs and homes and provide for their relatives and kids and raise a family. I don't know, man. I it's just I can't even imagine like the things that my dad was doing when he was my age right now. Like he certainly wasn't chilling around like on a computer playing around the internet. Like we lived very different lifestyles, and he managed to come over here and like both my parents did, to set up a good foundation and future for me coming over here. And to see that kind of thing, I'm sure like every single one of those women, I'm sure we're all mothers doing the exact same thing, and all of that was just like taken away. It's rough. Hassan Minhaj has it's stand-up comedy, but it's like really just storytelling, entertaining storytelling, and he's also an Asian American living in the U.S. and he talked about the freedom tax, which is like, dude, immigrant parents like just endured a lot of bullshit just to live here. They were treated in ways that they really shouldn't be, and they just like took the punches and they rolled with it just because that's what it took to, you know, live the American dream. This like, you want the American dream? Here's like, you know, some racism and prejudice, but as long as you live another day, like they think it's all cool, but man, it's not cool. So I just wanted to speak on that. If there's organizations, I should probably try to look up a few and link them to the description. I feel really bad for not knowing where to donate. For now, if you don't know where to donate, you can continue kay0ss's effort to contribute to the Asian Mental Health Collective. I think it's a good one. I'll try to look up some other stuff before I post this video, but that's just like my background and on what's been going on. It needed to be talked about. That's all. We have a lot of Asian Americans in the dance game community, so this is something that impacts a lot of us, the same way Black Lives Matter did back in summer of last year. So yeah, please kind of support these communities that are struggling in the best way you can. Okay, I hope that went okay. I tried to think about everything I was going to talk about while I was in the shower. And it turned out a little bit rambly, but I think it's all right. I didn't want to just make a video where I just talked about this issue, so we will look at one chart. This is everything I know about Black Jackal. We'll just go through that. This part's pretty normal. The 30 seconds are rough, but just keep your form tight. We'll go back to those. Put switches here, isolated. We'll talk about those as well. But we're just gonna run through this once and then I'll roll back and talk about what I need. Yeah, I double step those. Man, this song is a jam. This chart stepped by For Alligator, also an Asian American in the community. I think there's a crossover here too. Yeah. So there's gonna be like this 30-second note that comes up, and you have to cross over to set it up. But until it gets to that point, I'm just double stepping the 8th notes. Like I double stepped that too. Yeah, that 30-second notice caught me off guard a lot. Man, this video might end up a little bit long with some of the sad talk at the beginning. That's another one where that 30-second burst, if you do the setup for it, it plays out well. But if you double tap it, it might be a little bit rough. Oh, there's a speed change there, but this is C moddable. Okay, let's head back to the beginning, and I'll stop on parts that I think are worth looking at. I think I just double step these. Sakata. Right, left, right. Yeah, I just hit both of these as lefts. I hit both of these as lefts. And then this on left. Personally, double stepping. There's a lot more space between these two notes than you think. So really take a breather here. Make sure you're landing on this note at the right time. I'm double stepping these eighth notes. I'm double stepping that as well. This 30-second note, 5-note burst is spicy, and there's several more of them. I personally just think about, like, you've had this rhythm coming up here, like bum bum ba-ga-dum. This 5-note burst, I still think of this. Dum bum ba-da-dum. So ba-da-dum are these 3 notes, and they're all on your right foot. So 1, 2, da da da. 1, 2. I think about leading with the right foot and then letting these fill in the space. This crossover is technically crossed over, but since it's not actually part of the stream, like there's an 8th note here instead of like the crossover being a 16th note, then I just double step this as well. So this ends on the right, and then I hit both of these on the right. Foot switches here. Oh, okay. When these come up, how do I line this up here? My foot right now is firmly. I guess, like, can I draw a pad? This is a little bit ghetto. Where's my cursor? I'm really struggling to do this right now. There's my cursor. Okay. Let's see here. Can I draw a dance pad? This will be a Dance Games Daily first to draw a dance pad. Probably not the best way to explain it. Okay, this jump here, right, is on down right. So my left foot's here, my right foot's here. What I do is I make sure that I stay there. Normally with like big spaces like this, I might end up like resetting into the center. But that's like screwed me up so many times. The best thing to do is actually just to hit both of these with your left. Crazy idea. Like something I used to do was I would like hit this with the left, hit this with the right, and then this is a left-right jump. And I'd be doing like some hopscotch like bullshit, where I'm like hopping around to make sure I avoid like this spine right here. But actually, like, it's easy. Like your right foot is here. It just stays planted here for the entire time. That was not very straight. You can just keep your right foot there. It's already in the right place. And then just let your left foot hit these. And that works for the other ones too. Let's see here. This seems ambiguous. But the way that they set up this jump is that this is, man, this has not been cooperative lately. This is on the left and this is on the right. So specifically this up down jump, even though it could be done either way, right? This is specifically done on your left. This is specifically done on your right. So when the next up arrow comes up, it's not ambiguous. Your right foot is already here, so just keep it moving and then, or keep it planted, and then this up arrow should be on the right. Since this mine cues a foot switch, then this is on your left, and then it plays out. Yep, same thing here. They have, well, first of all, this is another mine cued foot switch, right? But also this jump pattern with the double steps again, right? They set you up pretty well so that this is on your left, this is on your right, and then the next jump that's all the way down here does have this left, so you can just keep it held here all the way through, and then both of these can be hit with your right. Yeah, it seems a little bit confusing at first, but honestly, like, doing something like that is a million times better than trying to do what I used to do, like on sight reads, and just be like right, left, like, what is this, hopscotch? Like, way better. So just take my advice now that I've played it already. Just play both of those notes with the same foot. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. These 3-note crossovers, they're just like this. I double step all of them personally. But it looks like this would start crossover rather than going into a crossover. You can decide whether you want to do them or not. I'm telling you right now, I don't. Same with the 8th note crossovers. Don't do any of them. Yeah, I think so far what I've seen is a lot of this chart, in terms of how to do the patterns correctly, is just about making sure you hit things with the correct footing and then leaving your foot on that panel or on those panels. And as long as you leave them set on those panels, you'll be set up in the right position. Yeah, I double step those 8th notes. They're just like the ones at the beginning. These I'm double stepping as well. There's a setup that matters eventually. After these jumps, and then after this 3-note, I'm hitting these on the right. Okay, and this gets a little bit crazy. So you can do this as if you do this as a crossover, and then this as a cross under, then it resolves out. This specifically is so it'll be, let's see here. Right, left, crossed right, crossed left. So this is actually with your heel. This would be with your toe. And yeah, and then when you get to this is playing on your right, left, right. These 3 notes kind of like spins you back out. So the 8th note crossovers are twisting you, and then the 32nd note quickly just like spins you back into place. So that's how you should approach that. The best thing to use is use these jumps as a cue for when these are coming up, and then once you get to these right arrow quarter notes, once you get to these right arrow corner notes, just know that the next pattern, if you want to be able to do this with the correct footing, you need to do this crossover. So here's the cue. Do the turn, twist out. Same thing here as the beginning. I'm really just focused on... Oh man, I'm having a really hard time capturing my cursor lately. I'm really just focused on these 3 notes, and then letting these 30-second notes fill in the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I find it easier to subdivide faster rhythms into one foot, and then just letting the other foot fill in. Okay, so here's side switches coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. The way I think of this is that once we get here, these phrases are cut up into 2 measures, right? So one measure, the first 2 measures are tame, and then the next 2 measures have turns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, right? Oop. Once you get here, now we're halfway through the 4-bar phrase, then there starts to be turns, and we see these side switches coming up. Just know that the minds are cueing the switches, always. Alligator is very good about that. So, 3, 4. Yep, same here. We've gone through 2 measures of that phrase. And now that we're on the 3rd measure of this phrase, then the side switch comes up again. And this is another situation where there's going to be a 30-second burst that's coming up here. It starts here. This is a side switch. So this last pattern is hit as a let's see here. It's all the way up here. This pattern is all the way up here. It's hit as a cross under. This is your left heel, right? So the pattern here is these 4 notes are pretty standard. It's just a stair. When you get to here, you want to do left, right. This is a right cross under with your heel. And then it's kind of the same principle as during the break. It's once you get to these 3 notes, this pattern starts with your left. And it's kind of there to twist you back out. So the only tricky thing about this one is that the first one was like a slow setup because it's 8th notes. But this one is harder because it's like a fast setup. These 3 notes here are 16th notes rather than 8th notes. So it's a little spicier of a move. Yeah, just like definitely hit this cross under, right foot cross under on your heel, and then this will spin you back out. Okay, so this is different because it's similar to like the same 4-bar phrase we've been listening to, but once you get to bar 3, instead of doing side switches, it does just like full-blown crossovers. Normal. Instead of side switches, crossovers. But side switches here. Crossover again. Yeah, so just be wary of those. I think the crossovers are easier in general than the side switches, but they're not easier when you don't know they're coming. This is a little tricky. This is the very, very last pattern. This is a stair. Actually, this is the same setup we saw earlier going into that 30-second note twist out. But this would be right, left, right, cross under heel, just like before we saw. And then you're actually going to reach all the way over here with your left. So this is actually a crossover as well, with your toes. Yes, it seems crazy, but once you put it into context, after, if this is what I was saying earlier is, this is hit with your toes on the left, then it actually works out. So this is right, left, you're actually back to normal. And this is just a normal staircase. And then the jump at the end. So that is everything I know about Black Jackal. There's some foot switches in there, but they're not too vicious. Definitely the most vicious things are like these double steps that if you try to like alternate step, you're gonna be playing hopscotch around this mine. The 5-note 30-second bursts, and then these like 30-second note untwists is what I call them, because you kind of like start twisted and then it spins you back out. Where is it? Here. These jumps are the cue, right? Yeah, this like 30-second twist with the crossover setup untwist. And then, yeah, like these 5 notes. I skipped it. Oh yeah, these 5-note bursts are hard, so I subdivide those. That is everything I know about Black Jackal. This is a 25 minute video. Sorry, but not sorry. I used it. I used the time in the beginning to talk about some issues that mattered to me. I hope they matter to you guys too. Thank you to people who have been watching. I've been getting like individual thanks and being told from individuals that they watch my dailies, which has been really validating. Like, it's usually just like a viewer count thing. I just see like, oh, this has more views than normal. But it's really nice to see specific members from the community like say that they watch my videos and to give me suggestions and stuff. That's really validating. So thank you guys for supporting still. I talked a lot, so I'm gonna stop talking. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.